Defensiveness is a protective response, your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do when it senses a threat. But here's what it costs you. The moment you go defensive, you can bet that conversation's going to go sideways because the person across from you, they feel it. Today, we're talking about what unafraid listening actually looks like. And it's not about making yourself invisible. It's about being brave enough to understand before you respond.
Welcome to Unafraid Living, a podcast where you will learn to fear less and live more. I'm Kim, and I'm here to ask questions that you might be thinking and maybe getting some clarity. I'm joined by Suzette, a certified brain health professional. Let's call her Coach Suzette.
Yes, I do like that better, Coach Suzette, rather than brain health professional, because I am a life coach and my passion is helping you embrace the life that you actually really want to live. I'll show you how to quiet the fear so that you can face each day with confidence and resilience. Hey friends, Suzette here, your brain health professional. If fear or anxiety has been ruining your life lately, our Unafraid course was built for you. The Unafraid course helps you retrain your brain to move out of fear and into resilience, one small shift at a time with proven, practical, and simple tools. Affordable options let you work at your own pace or join me in our private community, all for less than most therapy sessions. No more excuses. Be your own advocate and sign up for the course at unafraidcourse.com to start rewiring your brain today.
Thanks for tuning in to the Unafraid Living podcast. Today we are talking about a part of communication that sounds simple, but it is actually one of the hardest skills to practice.
Listening. Not listening to respond. Not listening to fix, but listening to understand without getting defensive.
And we know that getting defensive is a common first reaction.
Yeah, this episode is for anyone who's ever thought, I'm listening, but I also feel really activated right now. Like, I need to say something here. Defensiveness is a reactionary response. It's usually quick and also usually feels urgent.
Okay, so most people, yes, I'm including myself in this, we think talking is the hard part of the communication.
You think so?
I do.
Well, maybe. For me, listening is especially hard when something feels personal. Okay, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I kind of tune out.
Right. Because when we're listening, we're not just taking in the information, right?
Right. Yes. We're monitoring their tone, their meaning, their intent, and what this might say about us or the relationship.
When that moment comes, the one where we feel criticized or misunderstood,
or how about blamed, our nervous system gets involved. And you know what that means? It means we go into defense mode, right?
There you go. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about defensiveness.
Defensiveness is a protective response, as I said, and it shows up when our brain senses a threat, even a little subtle threat, like feeling like we're judged. I don't know if that's so subtle. I really don't like being judged, blamed, or misunderstood.
And once the defense response kicks in,
we stop listening to understand and we start listening to protect.
That is such an important distinction.
Yeah, when we're defensive, our internal dialogue sounds usually a lot like this. That's not what I meant, or that's unfair. I need to explain myself here. You're not hearing me right. But when we're curious, it sounds more like, tell me more about that. Help me understand your perspective. Clearly, I'm not understanding. What could I be missing?
So one way closes that conversation and then the other way opens it back up.
Right. And that conversation is supposed to be for connection. So one way cuts it off and one way opens it up.
Why do we so often listen just to respond? Because we all do this.
Oh, we all do. It's our brain. It doesn't like the discomfort that we're hearing. We want to jump out. We want to jump out quick. We want resolution fast because we don't like it. But the real issue is we can actually bridge the gap and gain mutual understanding if we aren't defensive. But defensiveness certainly doesn't do that for us.
That's right. But we prepare our defense while the other person is still talking, Isn't that how it's supposed to be?
Well, it's how we've always done it. That is true. Most of us. But it means we're not actually listening. We're rehearsing.
And I know as the receiver that the other person can actually see that you're not really listening. Mm-hmm. You're in your head thinking and getting ready to respond.
Right. They can see it in your eyes. They can see it in your body language. They feel it and they feel a disconnect.
That's true. So what does unafraid listening actually mean?
Well, it just means staying present, even when what you are hearing is uncomfortable, staying in it.
Oh gosh, that is so hard to do sometimes. But it doesn't actually mean you're agreeing with the person.
Right. You're not agreeing. Certainly you don't have to agree, but it doesn't mean that you make yourself invisible or abandon yourself. It means that you're willing to understand before you respond.
Let's get practical here. What can we do to not be a defensive jerk?
Right? Yeah. People who are known for being defensive,
yes.
I think of them as jerks.
Absolutely.
Well, here's a great way for that jerk to practice. Listen for meaning, not mistakes. Instead of tracking what's wrong with somebody's words, listen for what's really mattering to them right now. Why are they saying this? Why are they feeling what they're feeling? What are they trying to protect or trying to express?
All right, tracking. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. So
right.
What's next?
That's a good way to put it, tracking. Then just slow your body down. Drop your shoulders. Take a breath. Unclench your jaw. That's a big one for me. I'm a jaw clencher. I have to do some self-talk to get my jaw to relax.
All right. What does that physical shift do for you?
Yeah, it is a physical shift and it helps your brain to stay regulated. You can't stay curious if your body feels like it's under threat.
And the third thing?
Just take a moment. Reflect before responding. Yeah, reflect. That sounds like it's going to take a long time, right? Mm-hmm. But you just have to pause. It might feel awkward to you, but honestly, it generally feels honoring to the person that you're with. They realize you're not just jumping back at them. Mm-hmm. You're thinking about it. You might try. What I'm hearing is, or it sounds like this really matters to you. You see, reflection buys time and it builds safety and trust.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here. You're always telling us to pause.
Pause and pivot, pause and take a breath.
That's right.
Yeah. So pause and take a breath because that changes your emotional state. Now, not just one breath, maybe several.
Okay.
There's a thing called HeartMath. I've studied that protocols and actually one of those things I'm not proud of, but I was so close to certification and I didn't ever follow through and finish it. I need to still do that. Anyway,
yes, you do.
I need to pause, think about that and do it. So protocols that they have though have been well studied. There's all kinds of places that use this, what's called heart focused breathing.
Right.
And the reason is because it calms your body. It calms your whole emotional system. It calms every single system of your body and gets it in sync. And that helps you to be able to think rationally and to respond rationally and without this loaded, charged emotion.
So I don't know if you know this, but I have taken a few Tony Robbins courses and the like.
I knew that part.
And he is into HeartMath.
Yes.
So he really feels like it brings the focus back into you and it helps you gather your thoughts.
Well, it's proven. Yeah.
Right.
So when you actually calm down, when you calm your nervous system down, your brain changes and it's measurable. So it's a great tool. It's a wonderful tool. And, you know, NASA, Boeing, nurses, all kinds of hospital staffs, astronauts use the HeartMath systems.
That's amazing.
It's so simple. So simple. So we can all do it.
Right. We can all do it. What a cool tool to have in our tool belt.
Tool belt, yes.
So this is something we can do when we feel that defensiveness starting to creep in.
Yes. Plus, it's good information to know about yourself, and it shouldn't be ignored. But if you think of it as a failure, like oh, it's a character flaw, which it is, but if we note it and don't think of it as that, but think of it as something I can change, we can pause and pivot. So when we sense it in ourselves, that's the very essence of what it means to be mindful. We're noticing something about ourselves. And if we can ask ourselves helpful questions like, what's really going on inside me right now, rather than berating myself or beating myself up. We give ourselves leverage that makes pivoting easier so the conversation can go on. We don't get hung up over something that's totally unnecessary.
It might mean something important is being touched.
That is true. But heated conversations over explaining, they don't usually help us reveal the source of that sensitivity. So to help you with that, you might say something like, I'm feeling a little defensive right now. Could we slow this down? Or maybe, I want to understand, but I need a moment to settle my thoughts or regulate my emotions.
That's unafraid communication in real time, right?
Yeah.
What if you often feel like people really aren't listening to you?
Well, it's okay to ask for presence.
Like saying, excuse me, can I talk? I mean, I would probably say it a little nicer. Would you mind listening for a minute before responding?
Yeah, since that's a little nicer. Yeah, well, it's important that I'm actually kind of glad that you did that, Kim, because it makes us make a point here that how we say things is so very important. And we all know this in our head, but really even just the phrasing. So if we want that, we might start with, you never listened to me.
Right.
Or could you just listen for once? But we have to think about it and make these requests with respect. So we need to make it a little gentle request.
Gentle. Okay. Thank you for those examples. It is hard for some of us in the moment to come up with those gentler requests.
So let's talk about some of the gentler ones. So how about, I value your input, or I wouldn't be sharing. That's kind. It gives them that, it's affirming that you respect them. If you could hear me before responding, I'd be so grateful. And that's not quite as affirming, but it's also a way to say, I need this from you right now. And that's an important thing. It's a direct request. Or it may be even gentler. Well, I don't know if this is gentler. I don't need a solution. How about, I don't need a solution right now. I just want you to hear my heart. You might start that with, I'm hurting and I don't need a solution. I just want you to hear my heart. And it would be amazing if you could try to understand and validate my feelings, because I'm feeling really out of sorts. Clear requests help everyone to stay regulated, you and them.
So now it is time to share the one thing to practice.
So in your next conversation, notice this about yourself. Am I listening to understand, or am I listening to defend?
What if you are listening to defend?
Well, we know what to do. Pause, breathe, and pivot. But how do we pivot? Stay curious a little longer. Maybe ask for clarity. Those are all ways that you can just gain a little time, buy a little time, so that you can think a little more clearly. And it's okay to just pause and have silence for a moment. Remember, that can actually instill a little respect.
Okay. So the get clarity. I remember that from last week. I'm making a graphic for that one, and then I'm going to put it on my phone. Get clarity.
That's great. I love it.
All right. What's the takeaway from today?
Unafraid listening isn't passive. It's courageous. It takes strength to stay present when emotions rise. And when we listen without defensiveness, we create a safety space for ourselves and for others too.
And that is where real connection happens.
Yes, and that's a skill that we can practice.
Thank you again for joining us. We hope you're walking away with something that helps you feel a little calmer, a little more confident, and a lot more free.
And if you're ready to go beyond just listening and start living unafraid, come on over to the Unafraid course. You'll find all the details at unafraidcourse.com.
Follow us wherever you listen to podcasts and on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And be sure to check out the show notes for any links.